Hi guys, I'm Kenya and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So if you have been rocking with me for a minute on my channel, you know that I love reading. I love independent films, watching them, reviewing them, all that good stuff. So today we have a Netflix film that I want to talk about on my channel. So the name of this film is called The Platform. It is a Spanish film, and the original name is El Hoyo, which means the hole in Spanish. It is a science fiction horror thriller film. It premiered at the Toronto Film Festival September 6, 2019, and it won the People's Choice Award for Midnight Madness, and then it was released on Netflix. In the film, there is a vertical self-management center, right, which is essentially a prison. It is a high-rise building consisting of about 300, I believe it was 333 levels, right? And on each level there are 2 inmates, right? And there is a platform, right, that descends the levels from the top to the bottom. It goes level by level, and on the very top level, which is I believe this level 0 is where they put the food on the platform, if I'm not mistaken. And so on this platform of food, there's like all this ornate food, lobster, caviar, grapes, wine, everything. But the platform is literally like maybe 6 feet by 9 feet, it appeared from looking at the screen. And it goes from each floor, so it descends to level 1. That's the first 2 inmates. They eat whatever they want, and it goes to the second. They eat whatever they want. And so some people overeat, they overindulge in the food, and by the time it gets to the lower levels, there is no food left. So that's crazy, right? So let's do some simple math. So with 333 levels or floors, if my math is correct, with 2 inmates on each floor, that is 666 inmates. That's crazy. I wonder if those numbers signify anything. So, didn't think of that before. So, the thing is, if, you know, the people at the top was to take what they needed, instead of like overeating and overindulging, then the people at the bottom would be able to get what they would be able to eat too, you know. And I feel like this film coincides a lot with how capitalism is viewed in a way. Like, I want to compare the film to capitalism, because when I saw the film and I'm watching it, all I could think of is, this is what capitalism is explained in a movie. Like, this is something that should be shown to like high school seniors, or maybe, you know, college freshmen. I feel like high school seniors are mature enough to watch it, you know. And if you do watch it, FYI, don't eat, because the way they be eating in the film and some of the stuff that be happening, no, don't eat. Maybe have some tea or some water, a shot or 2, but don't eat. We're not gonna mukbang and sit back and watch this type of film. So just a FYI and a warning, okay? Like I say in all my reviews, especially independent films, I analyze everything to a T. So sometimes you might think like, girl, you're reaching, but hey, I'm just putting it out there, okay? So I feel like the levels or the floors represent the wealth gap in a capitalistic society, you know? Because of course those at the top of the food chain are going to eat the best. They're going to have the best food to eat. And those at the bottom, not so much. You know, you hear stories when you ain't got money, what you do? You buy ramen noodles, like back in the day it was quarter waters, Kool-Aid, you eat hamburger helper. But once you get your coin up, you eat a little better, you know? And those at the top, you know, they basically get everything that they need, everything they want and need, and those at the bottom are left with the scraps, the very scrap. And when you are at the bottom, that's like poor neighborhoods, low income neighborhoods, class D neighborhoods, that is where all the violence is going to go down, because people are fighting to survive. They're robbing people, they're killing people, their houses are getting broken into because other people they don't have it, and so they want what you have. And that was something that was going on in the film. The people on the lower floors, they got to killing each other. I mean, it got crazy, you know. And it's like those at the top have the power to change the wealth gap if they wanted to. Those at the top could have just took their portion, like I mentioned earlier, and, you know, once it got to the bottom, everybody, the 333 floors, you know, could have got, you know, maybe 5 grapes or just a handful of something to eat. Or maybe they could have taken turns. One floor eats, the even floors eat on one day, the odd floors eat on another day, so that people aren't literally starving. And those at the very top, the elite, like the elite who are controlling the money and the wealth in a society, you know, if they decided, you know, that everything should be a even level playing field, then there would be no fighting. There would be, you know, no murders, you know, less violence. There would be less people stealing and doing unorthodox and unconventional things to survive, you know. The people at the very top can change that. And it's like, you know, now with this pandemic, you see like all of these celebrities talking about they're doing a virtual marathon. Can y'all donate? Like, donate? Like, what do you mean? Like, y'all are rich, especially Oprah Winfrey. Like, you want my $5? You want my $10? No, I need somebody to donate me $5 or $10, you know? Like, y'all have it's like y'all have the power at the top to pull y'all money together and get things together, you know, get the country straight. But y'all asking people that's poor to donate. What the hell, we donating to ourselves? Like, child. And so let's just start off with the main character. The main character is called, his name is Goring, right? And basically, in order to earn a diploma for school or whatever type of degree he is looking for, he has chosen to volunteer to go to this vertical self-management center for 6 months, and upon his completion he would earn his degree or his diploma. The English translation says degree, but the Spanish translation is diploma, so you know what I'm saying. So he goes, he's interviewed by this lady. Her name is Imoguri, I think I'm saying it right. And she's asking him questions like, what's your favorite foods? Because, you know, they like to add that to the menu. And he was able to bring one thing with him to this vertical self-management system. And he chose a book called Don Quixote. All right. It's like old literature. So he wakes up on level 48, which is like 48 levels down from the top. And his roommate's name is Try Magassi. Try Magassi is his roommate. It's an older man. He had been in there for a homicide or manslaughter, and he had like about 3 or 4 months left and he would be out. And so he had like this samurai knife, and Goring has a damn Don Quixote book. And I feel like that represents, you know, he's on the outside, you know, and I feel like people who are on the outside, people who are not disenfranchised, are or not part of the working class, because the working class, at any moment the rug could be snatched right from under you and you could be homeless. You could be living in Tent City in LA somewhere. Like, it could get crazy. And so I feel like he represents the oblivious, you know, the people who have no clue like what is really happening in a capitalistic society, and what people at the bottom face every day, and what people that are considered working class, your one paycheck, meaning like you're one paycheck away from, you know, losing it all and being homeless, being in trouble, you know. For him to come into this environment with a Don Quixote book, it's like, sir, you might need a weapon, you might need a gat, you might need a shank or something. Like, bro, that's not gonna work. And so I feel like that was some naivety on his part. And then when the first day he was there and the platform came down and like all the food was like picked over and disgusting, and he was looking like, what the is that? Like, that's like me when I see, like, you know, Like now when I go to the supermarket, right, I heard that there is a meat shortage, right? And I'm looking at all the fat back in on the shelves, like the pork bacon, and I'm just like, ooh, like I would never ever eat fat back. The only thing that's left is Chef Boyardee. Oh my gosh, like I would never. He was looking at the food like that. Like, oh no, hell no. Like, I'ma just not eat. And then, you know, as days went by, he started eating the food because he didn't have a choice. And that's how it is. When you realize, well, damn, it is what it is. I either eat this or starve. Then sooner or later, you cave in and you will eat it. And so he wakes up and the guy, Trey Magassi, is telling him, like, listen, this is how it works around here. You know, this is the 48th level. This is fucking excellent. We on a great floor, even though the food is picked over. Like this is great. Like it could be worse. We could be on level 200 or something. Like count your blessings. Like get in when you fit in. Get some of this food, bro. And so he was saying, like, after a month they randomly are switched to different floors, so they could wake up on a whole different level. It could be a level higher or a level below them, you know. And so the next month they wake up on a level 171. And so now they are damn near like over 100 floors down from where he first started. He wakes up, he is like tied up. The old man tied him up. He was like, listen, if it get too shifty, if I get too hungry, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna cut your ass up and eat you. You know what I'm saying? Have him tied or whatever. So he's like tied down or whatever. He's screaming, please let me out or whatever. And I just feel like the different levels, like waking up on different levels, I feel like that represents like the working class, and that just represents like just living in a capitalistic society overall. Because one day you're up and the next day you can be, one day you're at level 1 and the next day you could easily be at level 90. It's just that quick. And I've seen this happen to people. So I guess that the saying comes in handy, because the same people that you see on your way up will most likely be the same people you see on your way back down if you have to make that plunge. So I feel like the levels represents how in a capitalistic society, like, hey, you could be here one day on level 300 and then you work your ass off 1 year and next thing you know, you be at level 5, you know. And so it's just like, and we see it all the time, people having to downsize because their companies went under and things like that. So back to Goreng and his roommate, Trey Magassi. And so they're on level 171. Days are going by. The platform is going down. It's like all this broken glass on here, empty cups and everything like that. There was a girl who would ride the platform up and down looking for her lost child. And I think her name was Mahari, if I'm not mistaken. It was Mahari. And so she be riding up and down on the platform where the food is, looking for her kid or whatever. And so as she came down, the old man was freaking stabbing up Goreng, cutting parts of his skin, trying to eat him or whatever. So the girl came and she starts beating him up. Goreng gets up, stabs him and kills him. And then eventually Goreng has to eat his old roommate, Trey Magassi. And it's crazy because, you know, Goreng and Trey Magassi, they bonded that first month. They talked, you know, about so many things. They were so close. But as soon as they got to level 161, Trey Magassi was like, basically, fuck you, you know. When you're at the bottom, it's like you can't trust anybody around you, not your neighbors or anybody, you know. So Goreng soon found out that it's every man for himself, and that when you are in desperate situations, all morals go out the window. And he ended up killing and stabbing his roommate, something he never thought he would do, but because he was at a desperate point, or, you know, in his life, or in a desperate situation, he had to do what he had to do. And that's like, you know, a lot of people who get caught up in the system or in jail or getting or incarcerated, it's because they're committing crimes because they're doing something that they have to do in order to survive, or maybe to take care of their families, or, you know, they're doing something that they know is not morally correct, but they have to survive. And so Goreng, you know, being from the outside, coming in with his Don Quixote book, soon realized, like, damn, like, You know. And then he's eating his roommate, something he never thought he would do. He's like, went from I'm not touching his food because it's disgusting, people picked over it, it's shit everywhere, to now he's eating human flesh in order to live, you know. Then he wakes up on level 33. So he wakes up and there's a lady sitting across from him with her dog, and she calls him by name, and he's like, yo, how you know my name? And he realizes that she was the woman who interviewed him when he first decided to volunteer to come into the vertical self-management center. And she said that she volunteered because she was diagnosed with terminal cancer and she didn't have anything to lose, and that she figured that she would be able to help. And to her knowledge, she had no idea what was going on with the people in the vertical self-management center, you know. And to her knowledge, there was only 200 floors, you know. And I found that ironic because, you know, a lot of people that are not disenfranchised or don't suffer from capitalism, they have no idea, you know, what is really going on with people who are disenfranchised. And she was in for a rude awakening when she got there and she realized, you know, like, oh snap, like, dang. So she had her little dog with her, and he was like, yo, why would you bring a dog? Like, that dog about to be dead. And she's like, no, it's not. She is over here taking her portion, like, let me get a little salad and grapes. I'm gonna eat my portion today. Then tomorrow I'm gonna give my portion to my dog or whatever. And he's looking like, child, bye. And so then when the platform goes down to the level 34, like, you can see down, like, there's like this hole, like, you can see down to all the other levels. And she's yelling down like, hey, only eat your portion, and tell the people under you to only eat their portion. And so they're like, man, F you, we were on level 90 last month, like, I was starving, I'm about to eat what I want or whatever. And so then the girl Mihari, who rides the platform where the food is from level to level, came back on that platform, and she was all hurt and jacked up. So Goreng takes her all, they're trying to, you know, clean her up and help her out, because obviously she was on a fight with somebody else on a different level. Got her together. The next thing you know, Goreng is asleep or whatever. He wakes up to the Imori, his roommate, the lady, I think her name. So he wakes up to Imogori, the roommate that he currently has, or the cellmate, and Mihari fighting. And Mihari done skinned her dog and ate him. Dog is dead. And another part I forgot to mention, that if they try to hoard food, like save food from the platform, instead of eating what they could at the time and letting the food go back down, they either turned the heat all the way up or made it very cold, very unbearably cold for them. And so Goreng found out when he first got there the first month, when he tried to keep an apple and it started getting really like hot, and he threw it back down. And then when he was on the level with Imogori, her dog had gotten into the food, and when the platform went down, the dog had a piece of meat, and so he snatched a piece of meat from the dog and had to throw it back down because it started to get very freezing. And so they weren't allowed to hoard food on the levels that they were on. They were forbidden from hoarding anything, you know. And I found it ironic because, like, one of the richest men in the world is Jeff Bezos, and it's like, he hoards his wealth. Like, you know, he hoards his, you know, Jeff Bezos hoards his wealth. Like, what if there was consequences for rich people that hoarded their wealth? Like, what if? How do you think the world will be different, you know? So then they wake up on level 202, I believe it was. And when Gerong wakes up, he realizes that his roommate, Imogori, she hung herself. She was just like, I can't do it. Her dog done got killed. And she hung herself. And so he basically, since he was on level 202, he basically had to eat her too. And he was seeing visions of his first roommate, Trimagasi, and Imogori telling him, like, you need to eat, like, survive, like, hallucinations as he was eating her. Because every time the platform came to his level, obviously it was empty. It was scraped clean. There was nothing left, you know? And then he realized that there were more than 200 levels, because originally Imogori, who worked for this facility before volunteering her services into the facility, she said that she only knew that there was 200 levels. So now he's like, yo, there's more than 200 levels. So That goes to show, like, that's a prime example of how, you know, as citizens of the country, we're misinformed about a lot of things. A lot of things that we need to know is omitted. It's not told to us. And she worked for this facility and didn't have this knowledge. And so he wakes up on his another month, and he is on level 6, level 6. So he's at the top. So every time the platform comes down to him, it is basically fully stocked. Like, everything is on there for him. So he had a roommate called, his next roommate is Bahart, which is his third roommate, and they are on level 6. Like I said, I wonder what these numbers like represent, because level 48 was, that's the number 3. 171 will be 9. So 3, 9. Then you got 33. And you got level, well, we had level 202, 4, level 6. And so Bahar has a rope. That's what he chose, a rope to bring in with him. So his thing was, he was going to ask the people above him to hold the rope while he climbed up the rope to get to the top level and get out. That was his plan. So he's asking people above him, which is a couple, oh, could you hold my rope or whatever. And so they hold the rope. He's going up the rope thinking like, oh, it's gonna be easy, I'm just asking everybody above me to let me go up. And as he gets to the top, this part is so disgusting. That's why I said don't eat while you watch this. The man defecates on his face and he falls down. He falls down through the hole. Now, like I said, there's 333 levels. So that is a hole in the floor going down 333 levels. And he came down, and he came down on the edge, and he almost fell backwards, like all the way down all those levels. That's how ruthless these people were. He fell and almost died, and then Goreng happened to like grab the back of his shirt and pull him back, like save him from his death. And then his rope went down, and he was like, oh my gosh, my rope, whatever. They devised this plan where they was going to get on this platform and go level by level and distribute the food themselves. Again, they meet up with Mihari. She's looking for her kid, and mind you, no kids under 16 are supposed to be in this facility at all. So they go down, they're fighting everybody or whatever, and they're telling them to send a message to people at the top, maybe send up one pastry that's not eaten to send a message. They end up getting off on a level because Mahari was hurt, and then she was like, I think she was killed. She ended up dying, and then they were all beating up him and Bahar. To his knowledge, he thought that there were only 250 floors, because when he was on level 202, he was listening to how many times that, like, he was listening to how many times the platform paused on each floor. So they get to level 250 and realize, like, damn, we still going down. So they end up getting off, like I said, because they was hurt from fighting everybody on these different floors, trying to tell them not to eat. And then he was trying to help Mahari. She ended up dying. And then on one of the levels, they saw a little girl under a bed. So he gets off the platform, and Barhart is like, nah, don't get off the platform. And then the platform starts descending down the different levels. They had to wait for the platform to shoot back up, come back down. And so every day, once the platform got all the way to the bottom of the last level, it would shoot back up to the top, and they would replenish it with food, and they would do it all over again every day. So he had to wait for the platform to come back down to his floor. He got up, Bahart was dead. He succumbed to his injury, so he got the little girl, he got on a platform. They was going down level to level. Like, each level, they just saw inmates just dead, killed, murdered. Like, they were just murdering each other at the bottom. And then once they got to the bottom, he saw his very first roommate, which was Tron Magassi, and he was saying that the child was the messenger. Like, she was the message that he was supposed to receive. And when I think about the message, I feel like, was he's trying to say that the children were the solution to the problem? Maybe teaching them, or, you know, cultivating their skills and rearing them better would be the solution to poverty or capitalism, you know? Or was he trying to say that the children are affected children would be affected within a capitalistic society. Those at the bottom, you know, the children would be the ones that would be most affected. Like, I was trying to analyze what the ending meant when it was like, she's the message and you're not the bearer of that message. But then who would be the bearer of the message? Like, it was interesting. So I don't know, I hope I didn't talk too much, I hope I didn't bore you, but literally I watched the platform and, you know, it was low budget. You gonna see all grays and blacks and shadows and shit, and maybe a red light once in a blue. But I did get the message that the writer was trying to give. I think he did get his message across, because even though it was like gory and very dark, I definitely got what he was trying to say. And you can't explain it any other way but in a gory and a dark way, because that's exactly what it is. The reality of it is that it is gory and it is dark, you know. So with that being said, if you made it to the end of this video, I want to thank you for coming to kick it with me today, and you know, put your 2 cents in the comments. I like to chat with you, and I will see you guys in my next YouTube video. Toodles.